So see here, this golden bud, this one's for you. And
He
shakes it and he cracks open the golden key. The what's the key called again?
The key to Vector Sigma. So
Sigma balls, Gary. And he sprays Gary Primal with the laser from the Vector Sigma key. And
he's like, balls, Gary.
Too much energy.
Is one of them a squid?
Cheetor, what have you done?
Blah, 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 blah. Beast Wars once and for all.
It's like, throw her into the compactor. Well, you don't need this anymore.
Why do you always talk to yourself?
I simply have a penchant for intelligent conversation.
Yeah,
Say Calabar! No! Say Calabar! No!
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Too Much Energon, a Lasercomb production. I think we've been doing this 62 episodes. If you're new to this, Too Much Energon is the podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. Pretty simple. I'm one of your hosts, NeoCal.
And I am your other host, Christopher Siege. And yes, we do indeed talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars here on Too Much Energon.
62 of these.
62.
Two. Imagine this is somebody's first. I don't know why I even brought that up. Nobody's like, oh, a Beast Wars podcast. Better start when they're on Beast machines.
Better start when they are on the third to last episode of the first season of Beast Machines. Who knows? Maybe they're someone is finding us for the first time on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever.
Sort by newest.
Yeah, sort by new. I actually have the feed for this show by default to sort by newest. Because that's how I personally like to sort podcasts. So
maybe we're talking to you and you're listening to this right now.
Yeah, maybe someone just found us and this is their favorite episode of Beast Machines. They're like, holy shit.
We could scour the globe and we could not find anybody whose favorite episode of Beast Machines is this one. Am I playing my hand a little?
I don't know about that. I mean, look at how much we shat on the Beast Wars episode, was it season 2? Season 3? The one with the fucking death ray. Someone
really hated that.
I really hated that episode.
I thought it was okay.
Someone out there, undoubtedly, that is their that is their favorite episode of Beast Wars because maybe it was the first episode they saw or something, and it could be the same with this. It's purely hypothetical. I'm speculating. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know what I'm talking about, but
that's what we do here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what we do here. We talk out of our asses, and then our asses transform into our mouths, and then we talk out of those into a microphone.
In that order.
In that order.
To Too Much Energon.
And sometimes the other way around.
Yeah. The other times are rare, though.
Those are Patreon exclusives.
Yeah, those are Patreon. You gotta pay to get that kind of content.
The kind of quality content we here at Lasercomb Productions aim to provide. As I stumble to pronounce the word productions.
Lasercomb Productions. Fork, York, Rhinox, York. Ooh, Primal, Bork.
Bork, dork, Primal, dork.
He's kind of a fucking dork lately, man. Oh, Swedish Chef.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? Am I being offensive? No, that's a Muppet. That's not
I
how Swedish people actually sound.
I'm of Scandinavian descent and I'm not offended, so
There, there we go.
that's
Um,
that counts for something, I think. Not much, but it counts.
it's something. Siege.
Yes.
Anything extraordinary or the opposite of extraordinary? Any cool news since we last spoke?
Extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
Like the way
Extra space ordinary or extraordinary?
extraordinary.
I see.
The way the British people out there pronounce the word extraordinary.
The proper way.
The
Queen's
proper way.
English.
The Queen's English. The Queen's Gambit. You ever watch that show? The Queen's Gambit?
No, but for a hot month, I saw ads for that and people talking about it everywhere.
Yeah, that show was like a big, like, holy shit thing on Netflix, I
Yeah.
think late last year. I don't know, I watched, I gotta finish it. I watched, I think, the first, like, 4 episodes of it.
Not bad.
Pretty
Wait, is
damn
that the
good.
one with the girl that like plays chess?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to check that out.
It,
It's actually
yeah,
supposed to be good.
it is, yeah, and it stars, Anya Taylor-Joy, a young lady I'm very fond of.
Hmm.
For
I'll have to check it out.
many, many reasons.
For many reasons, all of them to do with her pedigree as an actress.
Yes. That.
Yes. what NeoCal said.
Yeah, I don't know. News. Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Rise of the Beasts has finished production apparently. Well, it's wrapped
Mhm.
filming. About to go into post production, but
Okay, isn't most projects like that like 80% of the time and like money spent on post production?
for movies like that, yeah,
Because most of it is in the
about probably
animation and the
yeah, about 70-30.
they're not mocapping that kind of stuff, are they?
Uh,
They do the voice acting first and then the animators match it?
I don't know.
Because it'd be rad if they did. Just get like a huge jacked dude to play Dinobot and just mocap that guy like running through the forest and with a sword.
They are using real vehicles for the Autobots, though, at least in their vehicle form. But they've always done that. But
Oh, right. Yeah.
Optimus Prime looks pretty hype. He looks he looks like basically his G1 self. No more flames on Optimus.
And it's called Rise.
Rise of the Beast.
Beast.
The Beast Wars are over, son. You can't die, you fool. You're made of Energon.
It's been months since we've done the Sean Connery bit.
Oh god. I don't even have we even done a Sean Connery bit on Too Much Energon? I know that was a recurring joke on one of our many other podcasts, Alphanumeric, where we do this, but we talk about Reboot.
I feel like yes, because sometimes your Megatron impression would transition into Sean Connery.
Yeah, so yeah, right, yeah. Sometimes I accidentally conflate those two.
And then it turns into Highlander references, and we keep asking ourselves, why don't we just have a Highlander and Metal Gear Solid podcast?
Hey, we could do a podcast like this for Highlander the series. That shit lasted 6 seasons.
Whoa, 6 seasons. As a kid, I would catch it intermittently, but I liked what I saw.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
That it was good. I was a big fan of Duncan MacLeod. I think him and Tommy the Green Ranger were two of the main inspirations for me to grow up to be a dude who frequently sported long hair and a ponytail.
Tommy and
Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
So two very different. I see what you mean. They both got the ponytail thing going, the long hair thing going. Two very different genres of television.
Two very different.
Yeah, they
Although
pull it off too.
Tommy has the dragon dagger, and when he was the White Ranger, he had that like that white
Oh,
like scimitar type thing.
rad. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
It had a name, I can't remember. Its name was like Sabu or something.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't even fathom what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Listeners, if you want to hear us talk more about Power Rangers, we have another podcast called the Lasercomb Podcast, where we review random episodes of classic TV shows. And I think it was the fourth, I don't know, an early episode of the Lasercomb Podcast. We reviewed a episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So if you want to hear us talk about nothing but Power Rangers for an hour and a half, go check that out. Just like on this podcast, we talk about nothing at all but Beast Wars and Beast Machines for an hour and a half.
There you go. What more could you want? Well, speaking of the Beast Machines,
Beast.
seems that the Beast seems that the episode is a two-parter. Not that means anything.
Which episode?
I just realized that season 1, episode 11, the Techno-Organic War, part 1, the key.
Oh, yes. So, listeners, this week on Too Much Energon, we are talking about the 11th episode of Beast Machines, The Key. It's listed on 2b.tv, where you can go and watch the show for free. It's listed on there as Techno Organic War
Part 1,
the key.
Yeah, I was confused.
It is not listed as that on Wikipedia, and indeed I watched this on DVD, and it is also not listed as that on the DVD. The episodes are just
Weird.
The key, the catalyst, and end of the line on both Wikipedia and the DVD. So that's what we're gonna go with. And even like this episode begins with a recap of the last episode, which typically these shows only do that on multi-part episodes. But this show
when it's convoluted shit, it does it too.
But this show is pretty much more so than Beast Wars, is pretty serialized. So I think like it's one of the reasons too why, because like for longtime listeners, you'll know that when we were going through Beast Wars for multi-part episodes, we would usually cover them on as just like one episode of the podcast. There are some notable exceptions to that, but
yeah.
But I decided to stop to abandon that for this show because this show is so serialized. Like it doesn't really matter, at least in my opinion, because like because like they like an entire season kind of makes up like a long running narrative.
Yeah, agreed.
And yeah, I'm getting 1,000,001 notifications on my Apple Watch right now. So I'm gonna take that off.
You with your fancy Apple Watch.
I'm gonna take it off.
I have a watch.
Getting annoying.
King of the castle. King of the castle.
King of the castle. King of the druids.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. Just immediately, for whatever reason, Spaceballs popped into my head.
Oh. Fucking Spaceballs. I haven't seen that forever.
That's all we needed. A Druish princess. Funny. She doesn't look Druish.
You know who else doesn't look Druish? Tankor.
Yeah, okay. So diving into the episode.
Okay.
Tankor and 343 Guilty Spark, which you'll remember Tankor recently reprogrammed, so he's not actually working for old Space Hitler anymore. Now
Nope.
he's a minion of Tank Knox. So
Hmm.
so Tankor and Guilty Spark are in the Oracle Chamber, which we haven't seen since I think the first episode.
Oh, it's shown it other times. It's
Oh,
shown.
has it?
Remember when Primal was kind of like meditating, and he's like, "Oh, why did you wake me?" And he's just,
Oh, right, yeah,
yeah, all that.
yeah,
It's shown it here or there, but
yeah.
Tankor found it.
Yeah, so Tankor found it, and him and Guilty Spark are wheeling up to it, and Tankor like touches it and turns it on, and
There's an
it-
info dump here, and maybe my ADD is just going rampant, but it was really hard for me to follow what these logic leaps in logic that happen this episode.
so Tankor wants to get into the Oracle because he has found out about something called Vector Sigma, which Vector Sigma is actually something from Transformers Generation 1. And if I was truly a legitimate journalism, as has frequently been stated by both of us on this podcast
I
for
would
the
never
past
say such a thing.
62 episodes, I would have actually looked into this more, but to be perfectly honest, I forgot. I just know that Vector Sigma is a thing from G1. So Rhinox wants to get into the Oracle because apparently the Oracle has the access codes to create a device called the key to Vector Sigma. And Vector Sigma is like, I think it ended up becoming what is basically in modern Transformers shit known as the Allspark. Which here the Allspark is the Matrix, but I think in like newer stuff, like the Allspark is a device that creates Transformer life, essentially. And
Yeah.
I think that's what Vector Sigma is. It's a like computer that imbues life and creates Transformers.
Okay, so the Allspark is like the Matrix where everybody returns, right?
The
And Vector
Allspark,
Sigma.
the Allspark in this show, which is the first time in Transformers canon we've heard the term Allspark come up, but the Allspark in this show is basically another name for the Matrix. But I think, and specifically in the War for Cybertron cartoon, and in the movies, the Allspark is just a device that creates life, Transformer life, which I think is what
Right.
Vector Sigma is.
Is
So I think in modern
Okay.
Transformers lore, they kind of just like amalgamated,
Yeah.
dovetailed
Okay.
the concept of the Allspark and Vector Sigma.
Okay. I'm with you now. And the Oracle's this big Stargate thing that kind of is like, if you were to tell me what the Oracle was in one sentence to somebody that wasn't following the show, what the how would you even? The Oracle helps Transformers.
I would describe it as Cybertron's computer, basically.
It's home server.
Cybertron's AI assistant. Cybertron's Google Home
There we
assistant.
Cybertron's Alexa.
Yeah, Cybertron's Alexa.
Oh, I forgot to, completely unrelated to the show. This is, anybody that knows Christopher might know the importance of this. I didn't realize, but not only does my Google Assistant have various options, like 16, like a lot, but one of them is an Australian chick.
Yep, that's what mine is set to.
Oh, all right. Right. That's right.
Yeah, so listeners, I have a Amazon Alexa, which I got as a birthday gift several years ago. It's like an Amazon Echo Dot, like first gen or something like that. So it's pretty old now. I also have a Google Nest Mini that I got for free
I
from
remember
Google
that.
because I've been subscribing to YouTube Red or YouTube Premium or whatever for a few years now because I hate ads.
Yeah.
Actually, not even that I hate ads, but I hate watching like a 20 to 30 minute long YouTube video and then just like in random spots, like ads just popping up.
The 7 ads throughout a 20-minute video and they're a minute long and you can't skip them.
And they just come up like at random. Like,
Oh, that's the worst.
not like, at least when you're watching a TV show, like the show is structured around commercial breaks, but like YouTube videos aren't. So that annoys me. So anyway, I've had YouTube Premium so long that I think in Canada now it's like $17.99 a month, and I still only pay $10.99 because I've had it so long.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, 17. I can't spend that much.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay that much. I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not using YouTube anymore.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, so I have a Nest Mini that I got for free because I've been a YouTube Premium member for so long.
That's
But
rad.
I also have an iPhone and an Apple Watch which use Siri, so I have like all three of the main like digital AI assistants.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got them all.
Yeah. And can't do anything with Alexa, but with Google Home, you can make it an Australian chick, and you can also do that with Siri as well. So I've got lots of digital Australian ladies that I can ask questions at any given time.
And he'd have it no other way.
I'd have it no other way. Anyway, speaking of no other way, the Oracle doesn't want to let Rhinox in because
Bad boy.
because he's a bad boy. And the Oracle now for some reason has the old Predacon computer voice.
I was gonna ask you, did it always have that?
No, it didn't. No, it's it might have been the same voice actress before, but like now I don't know, they heavily modulated her voice or something in the first episode, but now it just straight up sounds like the Predacon computer.
So the gist is he doesn't have a compatible Spark.
He says he doesn't have a receptive spark.
Oh, a receptive Spark.
Specifically a receptive spark. And I kind of like Guilty Sparks, like sass in this.
I love how sassy.
He's given some sass to Tankor, being like, oh dear, I guess we need a receptive spark then.
Even though he got reprogrammed, he still got that sass.
Yeah, he still got that sass.
So Tankor is like, well, you don't have a Spark, so in you go, fucker.
Yeah.
Tosses
Yep.
him into the Stargate.
Yeah, well, you remember when you said you wouldn't go grab me the last can of beer out of the fridge? Well, payback's a bitch, motherfucker. Throws Guilty Spark into the Oracle, and the Oracle
mid air, because he's being flung at it. He's like, oh, I see where this is going.
And indeed,
That came out more Australian than British.
Indeed, he goes right into the Oracle, and immediately it's some like 1990s like hackers like
I'm digging it.
Sailing through some like some digital code, and he comes back out, and Tankor picks him up, and he immediately starts like vomiting this like vomiting code at Tankor.
And Tankor's like, this is just computer code. I can't do anything with this. And he's like, or can you? And then
it's code. It's code
manifests a key.
It's code for the key to Vector Sigma. And
he's like, Vector what? And 343's like, Sigma balls, bitch. I had to get that joke out of the way.
What's that? The key to Vector Smegma? Well, gosh damn, I didn't even know you weren't circumcised.
So the digital code makes a physical key.
And So the reason why Rhinox wanted this key specifically, like he's trying to get to Vector Sigma, but apparently the key to gain access to Vector Sigma, we don't actually know where Vector Sigma is because apparently it's not one and the same with the Oracle. But
Wait, so it's a place?
yeah,
Okay.
I think in G1 it might have been in. It was like a computer in Cybertron's core. I don't know. I'm sure
Something like that. Yeah.
someone is listening to this right now being like, no, it's this. Like getting ready to type in the comments section, like just immediately. Which
You filthy.
which
Please do.
Yeah,
We're
please.
joking.
Yeah, we're joking. Please do. Like if you know if you know like some like deep dive shit about Vector Sigma, we're all ears.
Yeah, just off the top of our head, we don't know all the deets, but
Yeah. So, but the key to Vector Sigma also has the dual purpose of being able to create technomatter, not techno-organic matter, but it has the ability to turn organic matter into technomatter.
organic matter into techno matter, which is just
Which is
like what our computers are made of. There's no organic parts.
yeah, or what?
No beast machines.
Yeah, no beast machines, no beast wars, no beast formers, no transmutates. Actually, maybe a transmutate.
Maybe a transmutate, but no
No realistic
Dinobots.
velociraptors.
Yeah. We both knew where that was going, yeah. No dino clones that are made of flesh.
Yeah. Yeah, so Tank Knox wants the key because he wants to get to Vector Sigma, but also because he can create technomatter.
That's right.
With it. So yeah,
and he wants to test it. So we cut to Shakespeare in the park with Night Scream.
Yeah.
And he's talking to the bat skull, which is huge.
Are these the
biggest skulls in the world?
Yeah, he's
That's
doing
the size of an elephant.
Alas poor
Bat boy.
bat boy. I knew him, Cheetor. I knew him, Rat Trap.
So he's talking to this giant bat skull, and he's like,
a realistic
what happened
bat
to you?
skull.
Realistic bat skull. Did you get wiped out by a natural disaster? Or did some robot decide you weren't worthy of the planet? And I'm like, hold up.
You're a robot too, motherfucker.
That has really dark implications. That if this planet was organic and now it's mostly technological, that there was some robot fuckery deep in the past.
Yeah. And that someone, presumably, and like this show has been building to this for a while, the notion that Cybertron was an organic planet at one point, and now where the pieces are kind of starting to come together.
Yeah.
Now it seems like Vector Sigma was used to convert organic matter on the planet into technological matter, and thus Cybertron was born.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this show treats that like that's a bad thing, whereas I feel like G1 would treat that like it's a good thing.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, sweet, there's all these organic planets everywhere and no planet for us.
Yeah, sweet. Now we've got a planet of our own. We got Cybertron, a purely mechanical planet. Woo! Whereas this show is treating it like this is like this horrible thing that happened.
I think it's because of the Beast Wars the Maximals came to realize that they could live in tune with nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they can exist as techno-organic beings with nature.
I do kind of wonder if the show is going to like start treating it as a metaphor for colonialism.
We can only hope.
I don't know. Like we're not there yet, but if I was writing the show, and If someone asked me at this point to come in and write an episode like after this, like I would lean into that.
Right, like them.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary to think of too, that they just fired like a giant like robot beam that wiped out all the life and turned everything into technological robot parts.
Yeah.
Like it's spooky to think that they wiped out a whole planet in their past to make a planet for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it wasn't even them who did it. Maybe it was someone else and they just ended up moving in.
Whoa, that things are
They're
blowing.
like-
You're blowing my mind.
They're like Rhinox is like great grandfather is just like, well, this place will do real nice. It's even got a mini fridge in the
But how did it get here? Nobody knows. Who cares? We're moving in. Like the fucking citadels from Mass Effect.
yeah.
It's not a spoiler. Like in the lore files, I really like the lore. That like soothing male voice that like reads the codex entries.
Yeah, that guy's a
The
very
Citadel's just there.
that guy's a very famous voiceover actor.
I can't think of his name.
I don't know either, but like I know he's done like a shitload of stuff for Disney and whatnot.
Yeah, he's got a nice voice, and it lets you know in Mass Effect that the Citadel's just kind of there, and it's functional because of the Keepers. These weird like little praying mantis dudes that just like do maintenance on the on the Citadel. Nobody finds that strange. So there's a Citadel situation happening with Cybertron, maybe.
Perhaps.
Intriguing.
So the Maximals are in this like big cave that we left them off in at the end of the last episode, and they're like drilling now.
How did they make or get this?
I
They have a big oil drill.
yeah, and they're like they're drilling for water. It's explained.
Yeah.
Because Gary Primal is sure that finding water is the key to restoring the organic nature to Cybertron, which totes must exist. Which, I mean, even here it's like they found like the skeleton of a like bizarrely large bat, and like even this cave itself is made of rock.
Yeah, it's not metal.
Yeah, it's not metal. So it's made of rock. So obviously, like Cybertron wasn't a like purely technological planet at some point, and
Because
since
they're caves. Yeah.
because there are caves, and since they found the skeleton, fossilized skeleton of a giant ass bat, there must have been water at some point. Otherwise, the planet wouldn't have been able to support carbon-based life.
Yep, sounds legit.
So they're drilling for water, and they end up finding they end up
Goop?
hitting something. They don't find water, but what they do, they strike oil.
Woohoo! It's green gold. What? So some green
Hooray! It's goop.
goop?
And immediately I'm like, and it starts actually making like plants grow exponentially, and I'm like, oh, they struck Miracle Grow.
Yeah. So it comes out of the ground quickly, makes a whole bunch of vines and shit, and like little trees grow, but then like sinks into the rock and ground again. Mysteriously. Doesn't stick around.
I think how this stuff works is once it starts, it can only creating like organic like plant matter and whatnot expels it.
Oh,
So,
consumes it a
it
bit.
consumes it. Yeah, not
It's
expels.
becoming that matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
So that was my takeaway from it, is like the more plants and shit it creates, the less of it there is.
Yeah. And Primal's ecstatic. He's
Yeah,
like, holy
he-
shit, this is proof, boys.
Holy shit, we did it! Let's pack it up and go home.
And Cheetor raises a good point. He's like, so we're farmers now? Like what's the end goal here? And I'm like, wait, the son of I don't like it, but he's right. Like what do you can't beat Megatron by like becoming potato farmers.
Yeah, shouldn't you kind of shouldn't
It's
you deal
cool, don't get me wrong.
shouldn't you deal with the thing that is causing life to end before you
Get your buddies back, maybe?
bef- that, yeah. Before you start looking for like horticultural ways of like making shit all pretty again.
Or before you start like learning how to like plant rice paddies and it I'm with Cheetor. Cheetor's like, hey, this is cool, but like Megatron's still planning shit.
Maybe you should deal with the problem at hand before you log into Facebook and play Farmville for the next 8 hours.
If you beat Megatron and free all the sparks and revive everybody, presumably there must be a way. They're stored somewhere, right? Because he made the Viacon generals.
Well,
Couldn't you then worry about the farming after?
We've seen in the Megadome that he has like canister. It's like there's canisters
Right.
everywhere of sparks.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
It
It's like
is.
having like a bunch of heads in jars.
Basically, yeah. It's like, dude, why are you keeping this shit?
It provides an interesting nightlight. Yeah, this Megatron's the most evil. We're on record for saying that.
Yeah, too much.
Too much evil. Well, maybe Tank Knox is more evil because he shows up ready to fuck shit up.
Ready to ruin the Maximals' day. And the Maximals go into they all transform one by one. I am transformed.
And then do like a
and they do like this
Mortal
really
Kombat
like
pose.
comical like action like series like action pose, and they like freeze frame and hold it. And
yeah,
Gary is just like, hold on, guys. Calm your tits for a second.
I love their like Matrix poses.
Yeah.
Cheetor's just like, "Arr."
And Gary Primal is like, hold on, guys. The fuck do you want, Rhinox?
Right? And I was like, that was good comedic timing. They're all like doing Matrix poses, ready to like fight.
Yeah.
And then Primal's head actually comes from the bottom of the fucking frame, by the way, like pops up out of nowhere, and he's like, hang on, folks.
Yeah. So yeah,
Rhinox, get the fuck out of here.
And then Rhinox is like, no, don't call me that, son. My name is Tankor now.
You almost did a Tankor impression.
I almost did an actual Tankor impression.
Yeah.
I don't know how much. I don't know how many more opportunities we're going to get to do Trucker Rhinox impressions.
So you got to do them while we're here. Yeah.
While we're here, yeah.
Gotta do them while we can.
Yeah, and Tank Knox is basically like, listen here, Gary. You stuck me with the tab that one time when we went out to the Quarterway pub, and don't think I've forgotten about that. No siree.
And Gary Primal's like, no, my mom said I can't get wet. And
Something
Night Scream's like, did someone say Bud Light? He jumps in front of the Sigma laser.
gets hit, and he's like, no, it's Bud Light Lime.
He's lying. Oh, what was those sweet vodkas that high schoolers liked?
Oh, Smirnoff Ice.
Oh no, it's Smirnoff. He lied. It's not even normal Smirnoff. It's lime.
So that confused the fuck out of me, because Night Scream has spent the past several episodes just shit talking Gary Primal, and like it's clear like he doesn't. It to me, it's been fairly clear for the past few episodes that Nightscream doesn't like Optimus and doesn't think he's like a good leader or anything like that, or even fit to be a leader. So why is he like diving? Why is he being all like Kevin Costner or Whitney Houston, fucking bodyguard, like diving in the way of the bullet?
He so wasn't there like a little redemption arc where he learned to be a team player?
Uh,
Yeah, sort of.
was there?
Yeah, I
I-
thought like one of the recent episodes, like he's like, "Oh, I like being on my own, just flying around. There's nothing like flying solo." And then like the end of the episode, he realized that the destination isn't important. It's the bat skulls that we make along the way. He's a team player now, I guess. Anyways,
it-
he gets hit by the Sigma blast. And we know it's dangerous because the first time Tankor uses it, he uses it on the plants.
Right, yeah, and it turns the plants blue.
And like metal. It turns them into metal.
Yeah.
And yeah, Gary Primal's like, "No, the prophecy is foreseen something." And it's like, yes, you dreamed about this. So stop it.
Yeah, and immediately like Nightscream starts wigging out and he's like turning like all blue and metallic and he's like screaming, being like,
It's horrifying, actually.
"Oh, who are you? Don't hurt me! Oh, get away from me!" Like
Come
he's
near
just
me
going,
and I'll rip out your
yeah, he's
spark.
going like full on like fucking wackadoo, and
like a creature with like rabies, or I'm not sure what they were going. He's wackadoo.
he
Yeah.
is a bat, so
Yeah. Good point.
Tankor starts like ranting about something and talking about like how great he is and about how he's going to use the key to Vector Sigma to like show everyone like on Cybertron like how big his dick is and or something like that. And then he starts like having a stroke.
Yeah, so he tries to shoot them again. He's like, "All right, who's next? I got another one in here. Oh, my heart. Too many chicken wings. Somebody hand me a beer, quick." And
Too much hot sauce.
too much. And he,
Yeah, he like has like a stroke or something and like falls over and seemingly dies.
I'm air quoting 1,000 times. He dies. Everyone. I guess.
To be fair, like the episode doesn't play its hand with this until literally like the very end. So
Yeah, I've got things to say about that.
yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, so he like has a stroke or something and like falls over and
then
seemingly
some
dies.
tank Viacon drones
Some tank drones that were just like seemingly
chilling.
in the shadows just show up and like take him away
Presumably
on a
Guilty
stretcher.
Spark was because he's with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, they take him away in a stretcher, and that's it.
Yeah. And
oh, but they blow up the their drill.
oh yeah, right. They blow up the drill. So
Oh yeah, sorry, Nightscream's being batty.
Yeah, Nightscream continues to like wig out, and Gary says that like the key to Vector Sigma is converting him to pure technomatter, and that's like corrupting his systems or something like that. And I'm immediately confused by all this because I'm like, shouldn't it just turn him back into a regular plain old transformer? Yeah.
Or a cyber, like a base Autobot with no beast mode.
With no beast mode, yeah, just like a regular like Cybertronian, like purely like technological transformer, which is what this dude was before.
Yeah.
Before Megatron's like cyber virus thing. So I was very confused by this. And then apparently, like,
But
not
they're
only
maximals, so are we to believe that they're all? No, they weren't techno-organic before.
no, they weren't. And yes, they're maximals, but like Night Scream was a maximal on Cybertron, and he
Yeah, he
didn't
was
have
buddies with Soundwave.
Yeah, he was buddies with Soundwave. Actually, someone, oh god, I can't remember who it was. One of our listeners commented on a recent episode that they like. I think they like to imagine that he was Ratbat, one of Soundwave's tapes, and I'm like, you know what? I dig it.
Ratbat? Is that actually one of his tapes?
Yeah, yeah. He appears in Transformers the movie.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so this confused the hell out of me because like I'm like, all right, Night Scream should have just turned into a regular, like plain old, like purely technological transformer again. So why is this fatal process to him? And also, not only is he been quote unquote infected by the key to Vector Sigma, but touching him also makes it spread for some reason.
Anything, including the Energon web that Black Arachnia can shoot.
Yes.
Her web turns like blue and metallic.
Yes, and that why? Dude, it's
Maybe
I've
if
watched
you shoot an organic planet anywhere, it would spread rapidly. Maybe it's like a bio weapon.
All
Yeah.
right, sure. I've watched this episode twice now, and it's I still don't get it.
So it's not just me. Yeah, I was like, there's so much happening.
But Black Arachnia gets the sudden idea to she restrains Night Scream by
With the web, yeah.
with the web, like ties him up, like has him suspended, but she gets the sudden idea to like let him loose so he falls into like some of the like the
organic goop.
The organic goop.
The 90s slime.
Yeah. And the other Maximals are like, Black Arachnia, what have you done?
And Night Scream flies out, and he's like, "Wow, look at
I'm
me!
better. Yeah,
I'm better.
Yeah, I'm
Cool."
better.
For like 10 seconds.
Yeah, and Black Arachnia is like, oh, so the organic goop reverses the process, but then he starts like wigging out again.
And she's like, "Oh, but of course seems to be temporary fix."
Yeah. So they're like,
And I'm
well,
like,
we need.
That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. And like, and does continuing to give him this organic slime, like,
And
does that just stave off the process, or is there a point
like
where
taking
it's permanent?
medication. Yeah.
Or is there a point where it's permanent? Spoilers. Apparently, if you just dip him in enough of it later in the episode, it suddenly becomes permanent.
So that's the cause of the conflict in the Maximals. Cheetor wants to go get a drill a whole bunch more, and pour it all over Nightwing and see what happens. Right?
Yeah. And
Primal
Gary
says,
Primal wants to go
"Hey,
after Tankor.
temporary fixes don't work. We need to go after Tankor and like reverse the polarity or figure out what that beam was that caused this so we can permanently reverse it."
Yeah.
And Cheetor and Primal are butting heads again in this episode.
Yeah, they're butting heads a lot, and they're doing that like
Oh, the bit.
that
trope.
sitcom bit where
They're pretending not to talk to each other.
two characters are like are really mad at one another, and they have their arms crossed, and they're talking in the same room, like in earshot of one another, but they're talking to
Rat Trap. Can
they're-
you tell?
they're talking to one another, shit talking one another through seemingly through an intermediary, but it's It's
I'm not talking to Cheetor. So if he was around to hear this, you could tell him he's a dumb face. And then
yeah.
Cheetor is like, oh, well, Rat Trap,
Rat.
if
So
you see Optimus,
tell him he's a
that
little
he's a doo-doo
bitch.
face and a bitch.
Yeah, it was shit that you saw so much in 80s and 90s sitcoms.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, is this happening?
And
Luckily, they drop it, but
it comes up again later in the episode in a weird way. I
right. I was like, this again?
Well, there's a bit later on where like very clearly Cheetor and Optimus are talking to one another, but Rat Trap happens to be standing in the middle of them,
Right.
and
he
then
goes,
and he is just like, "Man, I'm out." But it's like they're not doing that bit again, dude.
But
They're
he-
just talking to one another, and you happen to be standing there.
Ye- so it's like acknowledging that shitty trope in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
in the episode where they did it.
There are a lot of there are a lot of there are a lot of holes in this episode. A lot of things that I'm gonna be.
All the techno-organic holes.
Yeah, this is gonna be the first episode of Beast Machines where I have more nitpicking than praise to do.
I watched this with my partner. She has not been following Beast Machines. And she's like, when's Optimus? When did he become such a bitch? And I'm like, right, like holy, especially this episode.
It's been gradual. Like his character has been developing throughout the show. It's one of the things that like I like a lot of Transformers fans, and we've commented on this before,
Yeah.
but a lot of Beast Wars fans like hate this show because of the characterization of Optimus in general. But the show has kind of built
Oh yeah,
built him to this point. So like,
and Cheetor's gradually changed too.
and so like I
Oh,
get where Optimus is at this point.
he's still a bitch. No, I get where he is and where Cheetor is, and sometimes I'm on Cheetor's side, sometimes I'm on Primal's side. I'm with Primal on this. A temporary like fix isn't gonna help Night Scream, or so I thought. Um, so like just getting another drill ain't gonna cut it. But
Although they do still need another drill though, because they need to keep drilling for more organic goop to restore
they?
Cybertron.
But, like-
to restore the organic parts of Cybertron.
and this is where I'm with Cheetor. Well, I was presuming that he was going to die soon, Night Scream. Like it was like rabies, right?
yeah, the episode does. Gary says that at one point that like the techno matter will like corrupt his data tracks or whatever.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah. Eventually, it'll corrupt his like core or something like that.
So there is a ticking clock in this episode.
And I'm fine with that, but Cheetor was like, no, we need another drill. And again, Cheetor earlier was arguing, why are we wasting our time drilling? We need to be fighting Megatron.
And now he's like, we need a drill, which weirdly is in service of Optimus's plan, because Optimus is like, oh, we need more organic goop to restore the organic components to Cybertron.
But at the same time, shouldn't you stop the guy with the laser that can turn organic into technological first? Imagine growing a whole jungle and then like Tankor just shows up
and also the guy who suddenly out of nowhere has a transforming modular city that we're seeing for the first time. Spoilers for the end. This is the the writing in this episode is very baffling.
a lot is happening
A lot is happening, but a lot that's going on in this episode is baffling. And so
Guilty
3
Spark
4
brings Tankor.
Guilty Sparks brings Tankor's deactivated
Corpse.
body to Megatron, and Megatron's just like, what happened?
And he's like, he's dead, Jim.
He's dead, Jim. And Megatron's like, no.
Oh well. Throw him in the compactor.
Throw him into the compactor.
He would have wanted it this way. There's a fucking callback.
Yeah, and
I like that Guilty Spark puts his little weird claw mandible like over his face and brings down a visor as if to like close his eyelids.
I thought that was weird.
Did you? I understood that it's like in movies when you like close a dead person's eyes.
But we find out later on that this isn't even the dead body of Tankor.
In fact, it's not even a tank drone. It's a
But-
hologram of one.
Apparently, yeah, it's a hologram.
How could
of
Megatron
one.
not know that this is a hologram?
And also, like, why would the sparkless diagnostic drone like care about like closing the
Yeah, that's a good
dead
point.
eyes of Tankor?
Oh, he was programmed to put on this facade. I think Megatron is
by
smelling-
Tankor, but by Tankor, whom doesn't want Megatron to know that he has reprogrammed his diagnostic drone.
Oh, you're right.
So why would he do that?
Because that would be suspicious.
That would be suspicious.
In fact, he narrows his eye. I think he's suspicious. I think Megatron's suspicious.
I as I said, this is a baffling episode.
To quote NeoCal many times over, it's some perplexing shit.
Yeah, it is some perplexing shit.
So all of the Maximals are looking for a mole drone. It's the digging bots, I guess. And I guess they had
Yeah,
repurposed one to make that.
Yeah, we saw it, I think, in the second episode when they were like trying to like
Right.
meditate and learn how to transform. This
It
like
came from the ceiling of the cave. Yeah.
this like drill thing came down and like fucked with their day.
And there's a chase scene, and this one has more flashing lights and more weird camera angles than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, and
if
lots
you get
of
seizures,
like
folks, don't.
and lots of like anime style like close-ups of like Viacon motorcycle
Wheels
drones,
and-
wheels, like isolation shots
The
of their
Matrix
wheels
music
with
is
like
going hard.
yeah. The music in this scene's hype. I like it. But
And they do that trope where they're being chased in a circle.
yeah.
Fuck man, this. We saw it in Reboot. We're seeing it in Beast Machines. They're being chased by all of the motorcycle, the Tron bikes.
Yeah.
Viacons. And they all transform and jump when they're being surrounded, and they all drive into each other and blow up. So there's trope number 2. So
Yeah.
what? There's 3. There's Alas Poor Yorick. I'm not talking to him. You can tell him this trope. And now there's the, oh no, we're surrounded. Jump up in the air and all the enemies kill each other trope. I'm sure there's more too.
The Megatron is all like, fortunately, I don't need to rely simply on mindless drones to conquer Cybertron. Yes. And
There's
then
a lot of windows going around.
And then the like cityscape that Optimus, Cheetor, and Rat Trap are running around in. The buildings start like moving.
Yeah,
Like, they
because
start
Megatron's
raising
like, the fate of my world is not left to drones or something.
like I just said, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the buildings start raising off of the ground and start moving. And Megatron's like, welcome to my new Cybertropolis. Yes.
It's been waiting for you. And I'm like,
Has it?
One, I've never even heard of this.
This is the
Two,
first that we're
what do you
hearing
mean
about
it's
it.
waiting?
And so it
Is it
appears
alive?
it
Are you
appears
transforming Cybertron?
it appears to be a transforming modular city. Like the buildings can move around. And so
But they're just blocks. It's like Legos.
yeah, and so this is like
He's insane.
this is apparently a thing Megatron has been working on, but like this is the first time we're hearing about it, but it's enough to like create an obstacle for the Maximals because they can potentially get squished by buildings.
That's the thing. By the way, listeners, the buildings aren't transformers. They just move.
Yeah, they just lift off of the
Like-
ground and move around.
And like can squish them and like come together and like they run through a narrowing like alley.
Like I said, it's a modular city, basically.
So I feel like this episode is like what a Cybertronian would have a nightmare of.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like enclosed spaces, everything's dark, bright light, suddenly you're falling 1 minute, giant vid windows, Megatron laughing. Like I can't tell if this is a terrible episode or if it's insane in the very least. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward the former. I think this might be the first not so great episode of Beast Machines.
This seems like a nightmare that Primal would have while he's meditating on the Oracle.
Could be. One thing I did like in this this sequence here involving Cybertropolis was Megatron's face appears on the side of a building, and the Maximals seem kind of cornered, and they all just decide to like leap toward.
I knew you would love this.
To
They just
leap.
jump at it.
They just jump at it, and Megatron's like, was like, what?
I knew that you would love that. That's when I was like, okay, this episode's bananas. He was using the buildings to corner them, and some of them have jets, and they can come off the ground and like crush them. And then a giant vid window on the side of a building. It's not just a vid window, like Christopher said. They just jump at it, and it's made out of glass.
Yeah, because they smash right through it, but just before they do, Megatron's like, what? What?
Yeah, because he's laughing maniacally as if he has them cornered.
Yeah. Christ.
That goes into the roster of sound Megatron sound bites. The what?
It's all the references to vid windows you kept making.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Vid windows, for anyone listening to this who never watch Reboot and doesn't follow alphanumeric, that's a thing from the show Reboot.
Basically just windows that can pop up as a form of FaceTiming people in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a vid window will pop up in front of you just out of nowhere, like floating in midair.
And it's Megabyte.
And it's Megabyte. And Bob's like, what?
What? I mean, kind of. And then they get angry and go, what do you want, Mega Breath? Crossover when? What we do is no context. We get Snidler and Lady Glitch to watch a Beast Machines episode.
Yeah,
Holy
there
fuck.
you go.
Those are a couple other hosts on
Alphanumeric, yeah.
Alphanumeric.
Which some announcements are coming soon in regards to that show. A couple of different announcements. Some things are cooking up. But you're not listening to this podcast to hear about Reboot. No.
For some reason, you're listening to us to hear about Beast Machines. So what the? I guess there's driller drones that happen to be in this building, and I'm like,
That happened to be in this one building that they leapt
Megatron-
into. Yeah.
but it's revealed he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
He gave them what they want on purpose.
Right.
But when
yeah.
yeah, but when I had watched this, I was like, is this the dumbest dumbest shit ever? Like, is
Yeah.
Megatron the Deus Ex Machina of the episode?
Um,
Anyways, there's driller drones, but they have machine guns and they shoot at them, and there's a fight. Primal wants him to hack into the building.
yeah,
He wants Rat Trap to hack into the building.
Yeah.
Cheetor wants Rat Trap to hack into and take over one of the driller bots.
right.
And
And Rat Trap's like, man, I miss the days when I was useless.
yeah, and I'm like, the fuck, bro, you were never useless. And then I remember, oh wait, he was stuck as a rat.
Yeah, he felt useless early on in the show.
Yeah, there was like a inferiority complex he dealt with because he couldn't transform for the longest time.
And then when he could transform, he didn't have weapons.
He didn't have legs.
Yeah, still doesn't have legs.
He was a weird little boy, hacker boy. And
that episode 6 of Beast Machines, though, the weak component, that's a damn good episode. Leaps and bounds better than this one.
Yep. So we cut to Black Arachnia, who had decided that she's going to stay back and look after Night Scream, and she brings him some hot cocoa in a thermos.
Yeah, she finds a vial of ooze to give him, and he like
Attacks her,
flips out,
chase
flies
scene.
around. Yeah, chase scene. She ends up getting touched, and she starts becoming
wacky.
going wackadoo and becoming like technoized as well.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Cheetor, which is what is the episode art. I've already made it, listeners.
Is it the one with like the forced perspective from the floor?
It is a close
Or is
up.
it the one where he's screaming?
It's the one where he's screaming. It's a close up of Cheetor's
That's a classic.
face with him like just flipping out.
And colors moving in the background.
Colors
behind them.
moving
This
in
is
the
very
background.
anime.
Yeah. That's
You showed
the,
me
the
this
episode.
before.
Which what?
I swear you've shown me the screaming Cheetor face before.
No, or maybe because I did watch this episode like a week ago, and then I watched it again earlier today.
Or maybe I find this is just synonymous with Beast Machines. I feel this Cheetor face.
Goofy faces are kind of synonymous with Beast Wars and Beast
Fair.
Machines. I think
That's fair. Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way. They're more
Yeah.
expressive in this one too.
Yeah, which
At
I
least
didn't
when it
even,
comes to Cheetor.
which I didn't even think was possible. Like, because they're pretty damn expressive in Beast Wars as well.
They definitely got the cat faces down.
Yeah.
And spider faces somehow.
Yeah, who would have thought?
So what happens? Cheetor gets knocked the fuck out by a beam during the fight.
Yeah, and Gary Primal's like he grabs like a big slab of something and
Uses
is like
it as a shield.
because the like driller the moles they call them. Which every
Yeah.
time they say the mole in this episode, I'm like I keep thinking they're talking about like a mole, like a spy.
Yeah, that same thing. I'm like, wait, there's a mole in the Maximal. Oh, right, they're talking about the drills.
Yeah. It confused me. Like every time I heard it, I'm like, wait, a mole.
Okay,
a
so
spy.
it wasn't just
wait,
me.
what? No,
I
it
was
wasn't just
confused
you.
watching this episode multiple times. Yeah. So here's the thing. Couldn't he absorb blasts like with energy shields with his arms?
Yes, he could, but perhaps because he's also trying to shield Cheetor as well, maybe there's like a very limited range around his forearms. Where
Oh, and
he
he's
can
running
absorb.
towards Cheetor to. I just find it interesting that the piece of sheet metal that he picked up is bulletproof,
Yep.
but aren't their bodies more hardy than a piece of sheet metal he just ripped from the ground?
Well, their bodies are techno-organic.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So they can feel.
So-
It's like it's like a more advanced T100. They do feel pain.
A T100.
Yeah, isn't the T100?
Wait, which model are you thinking of?
You know I'm thinking of Arnold. Which one is he?
Oh, he is a T800.
Oh, T800. See, it's been forever. So wait, Right, and the T-1000 is the liquid Terminator?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm there, folks. And the first the first Terminator was a T-800 as well.
Yeah.
Because they're the same model.
Yeah.
We're talking
Well, we're talking Terminator. So they are T-800s, but that particular version, the version that looks like Arnold, is Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. So the endoskeleton Terminator.
maybe that's why I got confused and thought it was 100.
Is the T-800, but the version of the T-800 that looks like Arnold is the T-800 Model 101.
Right. And that's because it has like an organic flesh. You know the line. I can't think of it.
Living tissue over metal endoskeleton.
There you go.
It was a terrible Arnold impression, but
You just gotta go at the end and you're good.
speaking of Rat Trap successfully hacks one of the moles.
He does.
Yeah.
He
They
does some
hack-
sweet jumps and doing this. So what's Megatron's ultimate plan? He's like, haha, you fell for it. And the building they're in like has thruster jets. Megatron has way too much free time on his hands. He's bored. He's lonely. He loves tormenting the Maximals. He doesn't want to catch
he
them.
does.
He doesn't want to catch them and kill. What would he do without them? I don't want to kill you. And now he's just like shaking them, like shaking bugs in a jar. Because the thrusters are making the building go left and right.
Yeah, so they like so the three Maximals with the mole end up like crashing toward the ground, drilling.
Yeah, they fall out of the flying building.
They fall out of the flying building.
A lot's happening here, people.
they crash into the ground. They immediately drill like very deep down, and a fucking geyser of organic goo comes out. And apparently this geyser of organic goo is enough to just cure Night Scream and Black Arachnia. So this is what I meant earlier by like, so with the organic goo, is it like, is him being like completely like submerged in it? Was that just not enough?
Maybe it needs to rain on you, because here's the thing. When he
Yeah.
was submerged, he's touching more of it. So maybe it's a dosage thing. Like, you know how when you're taking antibiotics, you have to finish the whole bottle? Maybe he just needed a little bit more.
I mean, that's how
I'm glad that you
that's
thought
how
it
I
was
feel
dumb
about
too.
That's how I feel about whiskey, you see.
Oh. Just
but
can't
yes.
get enough.
I just can't get enough.
We skimmed over it.
That's a great song.
When the Maximals came back, they're like, where's Black Arachne and Night Scream? And they're attacked by them, and there's a little chase scene, and there's a T-Rex skull that falls on Cheetor.
So yeah, they're back to normal now,
And the plants are back to normal.
Yeah.
The ones that Tank Knox blasted with the Sigma laser. That's what I'm calling it.
The Sigma laser. Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? So then we cut back to the diagnostic drone with the corpse of Tank Knox, except Tank Knox himself comes out of the shadows, and apparently this was a ploy to make Megatron and Optimus think he was dead. And then this is where we find out, because he saws the Tankor has like this.
This is weird.
He has this like arm like thing on his shoulder that's been holding the key to Vector Sigma throughout the episode.
It's just like a little blaster predator.
Yeah, or like a war machine from.
Yeah, there you go.
From the Marvel universe.
So it's revealed that, because we see the green wireframe of this Tankor
body double.
There you go, body double, but it's a hologram. This is what's weird to me. He takes his saw hand, right?
Yeah.
And chops off that little laser thing that's holding the Sigma key.
Mm-hmm.
But then the whole thing fades, and disappears like it was a hologram.
Which, yeah, which is strange.
You thought so too? And I'm like, if it was just a hologram, why didn't you just wait for it to blink and go away?
And
Hard light. It's like the
it seems
Star
like
Trek.
it would the holodeck. It
Yeah.
seems like it would be much easier to just send a drone that's programmed to think, or that's just being remote controlled by Rhinox. But
But I guess
I
it's
I don't know.
there's a hologram. And then why cut it off with a saw when it just blinks out of existence anyway? Whatever. Anyways, he's like, haha, now everyone thinks I'm dead. And I'm like, good for
Well,
what does that do?
well, little do they know now. I'm my fridge is fully stocked of beer, and I got my shotgun, my pickup truck ready, and I'm all fired up to take down both Megatron and Optimus.
Got my MAGA hat on and yeehaw.
Buckle up, motherfuckers.
Buckle up. Fucking
And-
MAGA hat, Rhinox. The Tank Knox is a MAGA hat, Rhinox.
Yeah, he kind of is. And yeah, then the episode ends with like a shot, a zooming shot of the
key to new Cybertron.
the key to Vector Sigma, like twirling around in his like Battlestar Galactica Cylon Omnivisor.
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, briefly, there was some more headbutting between Cheetor and Primal, where they were like, "This was dumb. No, you're dumb." And Primal was like, "This group doesn't need two leaders." And Cheetor's like, "I agree." And he walks away. And I'm like, children, there's kind of bigger issues at hand than worrying about who's in charge.
Yeah. Night Scream's like, oh well, I'm glad that's over, and Black Arachne is like, shit, son, that it ain't over, boy. Like you just hang
You
in
just
there.
wait.
You just wait. Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the
Yeah.
episode. This episode sucks.
And there you have it, folks. So here on Too Much Energon, we have a rating system, as you may or may not know.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 3-tier system that
Which
is.
you may not know if for some reason this is your first episode of Too Much Energon.
Shout out to that guy.
Shout out
Thanks
to
for
that one
listening.
person. Yeah, thanks for listening. Sign up to the
3
Patreon.
tiers. Yeah, it's $5, you know. And what do we got? We got not enough Energon, a sufficient amount of Energon, too much Energon. It is basically bad, okay, good.
Yep.
Christopher Siege. I have a feeling I know what you're going to rate this, but what is your official Too Much Energon rating?
It gets a high, not enough Energon. There's some interesting concepts in this episode, and it does further the plot. Like, I'm fascinated to find out more about this key to Vector Sigma thing.
The key plot points are good. It doesn't mean the episode's good.
But there's a lot of little details that like didn't make sense to me that really like derailed the episode for me. Like, and we talked about them throughout the episode, but basically
Megatron
like,
accidentally helping the Maximals.
Megatron accidentally helping the episodes, him having a transforming modular city out of nowhere because reasons.
And it didn't do anything.
It didn't do anything.
I'm
and
sure
we
we're
haven't-
going to see a lot more of the
Oh,
Cybertropolis after.
I'm sure we will. And like the thing with the organic goop curing Night Scream, not curing Night Scream earlier, but apparently when there was a geyser
Being
of it coming
submerged
out of the
wasn't
ground.
enough, but getting rained on is enough to
Is.
cure you.
Yeah, so that was
Folks,
weird.
What makes your body more wet? When you take a bath or when you're caught in the rain?
Yeah. And that's a really good analogy. So yeah, and other things too, like Uh,
What?
Optimus and Cheetor butting heads felt kind of tiresome. Some like
Yeah.
the whole like sitcom trope of like talking through a rat trap, and
That's what I mean by Primal being a bitch, by the way. Not that he has a different character arc than Beast Wars or whatever. It's just him doing petty stuff like that.
and their Optimus and Cheetor's like plans like weird, like their logic
They were
being.
opposed, but then they,
It's not even that they came together. It's like the logic of their points of view like kept like reversing.
yeah. It's like, no, we can't get Tankor. We need to get this because we need to drill. But Primal wanted to drill to get the techno-organic goop.
Yeah,
A-
and
anyway-
Cheetor didn't, but then when the goop was there, he wanted to get more of it.
It's
But
because he wanted to get more to help.
but then
Night
Gary
Scream.
was like, "No, we need to go do this instead."
Yeah,
and
so they both switched their tunes
yeah.
and never at the same time. It was like flipping flipping something opposite
the
at the
writing
same
in this
time.
the writing in this episode is very shoddy. So
It did a lot. Like I feel like
a lot happened in this episode, but the writing is very shoddy. So it's a high not enough Energon because a lot happens to drive the plot forward, but it's a very poorly written episode.
grade. Not enough Energon, which is our first. That's it. You said it. We said it. So that's unanimous from us, which means this is our first episode of Beast Machines that is not enough Energon.
Yeah, we had quite a streak going where it was just too much Energon.
Yeah, and then sufficient, and then too much Energon again, and then it's
And now
fluctuating.
I wonder if we'll get the infamous no Energon rating at some point.
And oh, that's the unlockable. That's the secret.
Yep, that's
Oh,
the bonus tier. I've only
Was it- there
dished
was
that out
one-
to in 2 episodes. Have dished it out in 2 episodes. You dished it out in 1 episode.
But it was unanimous for one.
Yeah.
I think, right?
It was, yeah.
Fuck,
It
what
was the
episode was
Vok
that?
episode.
Oh, of course. Why I could have just guessed that.
The other one, the one that I went no Energon on was the fucking Death Ray episode.
Yeah, that was offensive to your senses.
I fucking hated that I still hate that episode. I get angry thinking about that episode. Listeners, that episode keeps me up at night.
You
with
mentioned
how much I
you
hated it.
mentioned that earlier. It's like, no, proto-humans. No, repairing things. Why? Just unplug it. No. Oh God, it was just a dream. Wait, the episode was real. Fuck. So this episode suffers from what happens at the end of every season 2 and 3 Beast Wars season, is that they have all these ideas, but then only like 2 or 3 episodes left to do.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we got 6 ideas. Oh, we need to choose like 1 or 2, maybe 3 at most. And then somebody's like, but what if we do all 6? And everyone else is like, are you sure? Sounds good. And it's slow it down. Metropolis.
Hasbro is like, wait a minute. You're saying you have these 6 ideas that you could do in 6 episodes that will cost $5 million a piece, or you could do these 6 ideas in 1 episode that will cost $5 million. There you have it, folks.
that will cost $500,000. But yeah, like Cybertropolis. What? I'm interested, but like,
What?
what's the goal?
Also, why?
Why?
How?
How? Who? When? Like, I'm interested in that, but like, what the does? And how is that better than just sending armies of fucking drones? It's weird. He's playing with Kinects, people. Y'all remember Connects?
What?
They jumped through my glass fit window. I don't know, man. Mainframe Entertainment likes breaking glass, jumping through glass. It and just the goop and like the key. There's three things. I want just one episode for Cybertropolis. I want one episode explaining the goop, and I want one episode explaining that stupid key.
Yeah.
But instead, they mashed them all together and then added bickering, and then added like a secret plot where Tank knocks, like fakes his death, and I don't.
Yep.
They keep calling those driller things moles, and there's lots of. I've never had problems with the flashing lights, but wow, this episode is something. I don't even give it a high. Not enough Energon. Like this is just bad. Anyways, that's my rant. That's the show, folks.
All right, that was episode 62 of Too Much Energon. If you want to support the show, go to Patreon, patreon.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. I just revamped it at the time of recording. I just revamped it just before we started recording. There are 3 tiers. There's a $5, a $10, and a $25 tier. The $5 tier is called Sprite. Gets you weekly preamble audio for this and all of the various shows that we do throughout the week. There's usually 2 or 3 literal hours of preamble audio with us just kind of speaking casually, shooting the shit. I've also made our monthly Beast Wars comic book spin-off of this, Too Much Galavar. I've added that to the $5 tier as well, so you'll get that once a month, sometime throughout the month. Also, our monthly commentary track, Too Much Commentary. I've also made part of the $5 tier. Still a $10 tier. I've renamed the $10 tier to Maximal, which gets you all of that. Plus, you get our weekly news and discussion program, Lasercomb Tonight, and you now, at the $10 tier, get to pitch us a show to talk about on the Lasercomb podcast.
That's right. And if not sure what detail we went into it, the Lasercomb podcast, it's like this, but it's a different show every time.
Yeah. I did mention that earlier on when I was talking about Power Rangers, but yes, the gist of it is we do this, but about a random episode of a TV show, either as chosen by patrons or chosen at random, or I like to put up Twitter polls to let my Twitter followers decide.
And I choose what I want.
And Cal chooses what he wants. So yeah, at the $10 tier, you can pick a show for us to review a random episode of on that. Still a $25 tier, just as there was before, which I've now renamed to the Too Much tier. Which
it's fitting.
It is fitting, yeah. It's basically the you really like us and what we do tier. So it gets you all of that. Plus, after like 3 months, I will send you a t-shirt relating to this show, Alphanumeric, our reboot podcast, or a t-shirt relating to the Lasercomb podcast.
Yeah, you can get to pick.
Yeah, you get to choose, and I'll send you that through TeePublic.
Yeah, so
our merch store.
You know what? Considering shipping and all of that stuff too, it helps us out. But like, you also end up getting a shirt too, so it's a win-win.
It's a win-win for everyone, but especially us.
but especially us.
So and you as well. So yeah, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. Social media, go to follow this show on Facebook, facebook.com/toomuchenergon, or the central hub of all of the Lasercomb podcasts, facebook.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. You can follow the show on Twitter at toomuchenergon, or you can follow me on Twitter at lasercomb. Cal, you are also on Twitter, yes?
Yes, you can follow me on the Twitters at Neo_Cal, K-A-L.
Cal with a K.
Cal with a K.
Also,
who's a Cal with a K?
another way to support the show is to give it a, wherever you're listening to or watching it, give it a like, subscribe, 5-star rating, anything. Leave a review on iTunes. I'd love it. We've got 3, I think, actual like written reviews on the US iTunes store.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool, but not on the Canadian iTunes store. We just have a couple 5-star ratings.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell a friend who likes Beast Wars.
We'll be back next week with episode 63 of Too Much Energon, where we will be talking about the 12th episode of Beast Machines, The Catalyst. So keep an eye out for that.
This is not. Never mind. I was like, is this the season finale?
No, it is the penultimate episode of season 1 of Beast Machines.
All right.
So
I
keep
have
an eye.
no idea where this is going, man.
So keep an eye out for that. Episode 63 of Too Much Energon. I think that about does it for this podcast. We're going to get out of here. I've been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I'm NeoCal.
And until next week, praise the Lord and pass me a beer.
Sigma balls, Optimus.
Bye-bye.
This bud's for you.
Honest and true, motherfucker.
What did you say at the very end there?
Praise the Lord and
praise the Lord. Right, he's a MAGA hat.
Praise
Rhinox
the Lord and pass me a beer.
Praise the Lord and pass me a beer. Cheetor, did you become some sort of queer?